Welcome, my beautiful people. Super excited today. This is the podcast where we explore the exciting world of travel, short term rental, and the business of travel and short term rentals. But in today's podcast, we're going to be diving into um, and talking to the owners and founders of Dream uh, Bright Custom Design, which is a company that's designed to create unique and eye catching designs that turn properties into phenomenal experiences. And in the short term rental industry, having a phenomenal experience is a key component to the business. So when I learned about this company, I really had to have the owners on so they can talk about their product, their experiences in designing, and how the product and services that they give property owners, how that has changed the particular property, whether it's for selling that property or if it's an owner that wants to enjoy a unique experience in their own property, or like us, where we need to stand out in a very competitive market, right? And the way we stand out in a very competitive market is by providing these unique experiences, creating designs that are not going to be seen anywhere else except for that particular property. So, without further ado, I want to welcome the owners and founders of Bright Custom Design. Tell us who you are and what you're about.
Good morning. My
Good
name is
morning.
Oria,
And my name is Delgado.
and we are the owners of Dream Bright Custom Designs. I'm
Yes.
excited to be here.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So let's start about learning who you guys are. What inspired you to start Dream Bright Custom Designs?
All right. So
I'm going to
me
let
begin.
Delgado say.
All right. So, oh man, I guess I got a dream in 2017, and that was the dream to create the first name Dream. I had the beginning of the name, and I guess you have to dream bright after that. So, and I combined both of those names together, and that's what I created, Dream Bright. And since then, it's been bright, and it's been a dream. So, it's a good thing. So, Dream Bright, it's a loving, unique twist with a little bit of us to it. So,
It's a lot of us
it's
in
a
it.
lot
It's a
of
lot of
us.
sprinkle
Yes.
of us in it.
So, and what else?
So let,
More.
let, let me take you,
Mhm.
Dagala, let me take you back. So give us your background. Like
Oh,
what were
this is
you doing
interesting.
before you created this company?
So I'm Jamaican and I'm 45. Beautiful as I am. So grew up in Jamaica, moved to New York, Brooklyn. I moved to Brooklyn and I learned this trade of doing hardwood, and that's what really pushed my dream into the carpentry field also. And grew up in Jamaica, I see my uncle building custom furnitures in my yard, so I have a knowledge of it and seeing it growing up in my blood. And then I moved to New York, and as a young kid, 14 years old, living in Brooklyn, it's pretty tough in
Yeah.
1994 around them times. So you know, did what I have to do, learn the construction field, move to Florida, and this is when I make a twist and a change to my, life in this carpentry field. And when I came to Florida in 2000, I said, I need a change, and I just pushed carpentry, and I did carpentry all my life since then. And 2017, I sit down and I was working for a lot of these construction companies, and I know that one day I wanted my own, so I continue to learn and master this trade that I God been gift with me, give me to. So I just didn't know how to explore it in a different way, to make it where Dream Bright Custom came about. So one day I was just sitting down and I keep on working for different construction company, and I said, you know what, I want to have my own and create a different, culture, different movement to a whole, the whole carpentry, the whole everything. So my idea was, to like create this company but I didn't know where. But I just have a vision, basically. I came up with this vision in 2017, Dream Bright. And I know it was construction first. And then I was like, I didn't know what else to do. So I had stuck with that name for 2017.
Yep.
And then I put it to the side. I'm on point, or I'm going off track, our topic here. I'm
No,
good?
no, you're good. You're
Okay.
good, man. You're good. Keep
Okay.
going. I mean,
I have so much thoughts in my mind. So
yeah.
yes, so 2017 I came up with this name, and I put it to the, like what I said, I put it to the side, and I continue to work and work with different cultures, different, ethnicity, every type of people, and people that teach me the whole trade more, to acknowledge me of a more business point, to see, if I can really have my own company and start my own company. So I put 2017 when I come up with Dream Bright to the side, and then 2021 when COVID hit,
Yeah.
that's make a change. And I noticed when I was working for, sorry, I was working for a carpentry custom cabinet company, and in COVID, it was like it's most busiest year ever in carpentry, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, So I started Dream
Let,
Bright,
let-
and
let me
uh,
let me stop you there because that's an interesting point right that you just meant. You just talked about in 2021, and 2021, you guys had more business than you had before, and you thought that was amazing. Do you know? Can you explain why do you think that was the case?
wow, what? To be honest, people was a home more, and more people have time to play with their money.
Yeah, pretty much.
so so the real estate was basically, for us as carpenter, it was booming because people was spending more money in their houses. So yes,
and
it was.
and that and that the interesting thing about COVID was depending on what industry you were in, depend on whether you did well or not. So, for example, we all know that
Yes,
restaurant business
it was hard.
didn't do well, bars didn't do well, etc. But real estate did really well. Construction did really well.
Yes,
Us in the travel industry, specifically only because we were in South Florida, and South Florida at the time
yeah,
was one of the
yes,
few states
yes,
open.
Right.
yes,
We did really well. So you saw that booming. Now,
yes,
now
and
continue with your story. Tell me, you
yeah,
saw that and you're like, wow,
yes,
this is great.
yes. So it blow me out of park, and I have a mentor in this COVID time, and it's an old little guy, man. He's like my mentor. He's my boss at the time, you know, and he teach me a valuable thing in life with this whole business is pay attention to details.
Nice.
And yes, so he teach me that for a very long time, and then I learned everything else. And after he said that he's going to retire, that's when I said, you know what? I guess it's my time. And this was in 2002.
God was preparing you. He put
Yes,
the right people in
yes, yes,
your life to prepare you for
yes.
what you were
He
going to
said he
do.
was going to retire in 2002, and that's when everything changed for me. I make a leap. I have 4 kids, right? Having a steady salary. 4 kids. My my boss looked at me and told me, "Hey, I'm about to retire. Do you want to buy the business?" But at the time, I was a young black man. Didn't have the opportunity to buy the company at the time. But I guess it's like what I said. I am a strong believer, and I believe in him so much. I know he's watching and guiding and protecting me, and carrying me through this journey. That's the major thing. So once he said that he was gonna leave, I kind of just, I guess it was the message. And I went on this. I don't want to put it out. I want to put that app out,
Yeah.
but I went on the app, and for the very first time, a person told me about it and said, go ahead. You have a lot of talent. I see it in you. You're a people person, and you're a craftsman of what you do.
So Delgado, you had your mentor. The mentor was going to retire. You went. You thought about this app, or you want this particular app, and then
Yes.
that app inspired you. So continue.
Yes. So in the process of me went to that journey of, my boss told me that I was, he's gonna retire. I jump on this app. A friend told me about it. I gave it a chance, out of faith. I gave that app a chance. And since then, that app changed. Not really, it showed me that I have a talent and I have a gift. And I basically
And you can do this on
and
your
I
own
can
and you
do
don't need a
this.
boss.
Yeah. And I did this for about a year on my own, and I was paying everything. And but between before that journey, I was working for the most high end companies, home theaters in South Florida, the most top of the line designers in South Florida. So it's not like I haven't, I may not put that in there in the beginning, but I was with the most top of the high end companies in South Florida, and that kind of like create my more, when it comes to pay attention to details and learning my skills and my art. And this what brings me to Dream Bright.
And then
Yes.
what was the catalyst? Like, what pushed you to the edge so that you can to say, "Hey, I can do this on my own. I'm gonna start my own company." What was that? What was that turning point?
Ooh, that turning point is when my mentor, my old boss, at the end of his retirement, he starts spending time with me in the more business side of it, like start teaching me. And I think once I have a knowledge and a feeling of it, I think that kind of like push me more that I can do it. And I think, the first year when I did it on my own with no boss, nothing, just me, sending invoices, getting, and it's like I did that for that year and I'm supporting my kids and everything. And I was like, wow,
I wasn't in the picture at the moment.
yes, it was that,
So,
that
so tell
really,
me, so Ari, tell me when you got in the picture.
oh,
What changed in the business when you came in?
ah,
See the
this is,
energy change right there?
this is my sunshine. This is what basically you're oh man, I can't even know how to break it down. So it's
Break it
like
down, break it down.
so it's like you was like in a box. Basically, I'm gonna break it down. It's like you in a box. So every morning you get up, it's like you hit that one corner. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to go to the left corner. But it's a door there. But you're so in that box, you don't see the door. And she was my door to open me up to see a different, bigger side of the Dream
So,
Bright.
so did she, Ari, so, or Delgado, so she opened that door for you, but what room did you go into? Like, for
Oh
example,
man.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna bring it down this way, right? And this is an important lesson for everyone listening if you're looking to start a business, right?
Mhm.
One of the things that I like about Delgado, and one of the reasons why, I think his past history is important for you guys to understand. Listen to what he said, right? First, he said he worked in the industry for an extended period of time to learn the skills, right? Because you have to be a master of your craft. He
Yes.
did that. Next thing he talked about, and this is very important, is having that mentor, right? There's a lot of people out there that I firmly believe really need a mentor. Most of us need either a coach or a mentor.
Yes.
I know there's people that say, oh, they're not needed. And I'm
No.
here to tell you, if you really want to excel, if you
Yes.
really want to be number one in whatever field you're in,
Yes.
you must have a mentor or a coach. I'm going to give you
I
some
agree.
examples, and I'll use sports as an example, right? You have Tom Brady. Tom Brady always had a coach, right? You have Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods had a coach. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had a coach, right? And all the three people I just mentioned, highly successful, super skillful, but yet they still needed that coach.
Coach.
Delgado had that mentor, which I firmly believe is one of the reasons why he is successful today and doing as well as he's doing today. But in addition to that, you also need to understand where your weaknesses are. He talked about he had that blind spot. He's in that box, and there was a door there, but he didn't realize that door was there. Ari was that person that showed had him understand that he had blind spots, right? This is why it's also important to understand what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, right? So let's continue this conversation. So Ari helped you open that door, and then once that door was open, explain how that changed your business and how you saw things in business, particular.
Okay, so so oh man, this is it's going to get interesting. All right, so Ori is from Israel, and
Two completely different cultures.
okay, and I'm Jamaican, so it's like
Water and oil.
yeah. So I opened a door of very interesting features and families and culture. So it basically opened up a lot of changes with the skills and the knowledge, you know.
I'm going to
So,
chime
so when you say uh, so when you say changes, what changes were made in your business to make it to where it is today?
Okay, the structure, the put it in. How can you say break it down for me? Help me here.
Okay, I'm
So
going to
it's
help
like
him out here.
the changes. Go ahead.
So when I first met Delgado,
I was all over the place.
I was his number one. He was all over the place.
Yes.
Okay. So just like most people, in America, they work for, like when Delgado, he worked for the top of the line home theaters in the country. And we sat down and we had conversations, and I'm listening to him, and I immediately became his number one fan. And I told him that even before we even started dating, because he was just so talented and he was so humble. But he was not given all the credit of all the work he was doing, obviously, because when you work for someone else, they get the credit, but you do the work. And then I looked at him and I'm like, you can do this on your own. Like, everyone else is taking credit for your skills and your social skills as well, because all the clients loved him. And so when I said that to him, I'm like, no, you can do this. We can do this together. You have the talent, you have the skills. Your weaknesses are my strength are my weaknesses. He had his mentor. And I also believe in mentorship. I had a mentor for many years for self-development, because we all want to grow.
Yes.
And that's when it really all happened. When I said to him, I kind of pushed him. I pushed him over and I said, fear, everyone has fear. And I remember telling him, fear stands for false evidence that appear real. And as long as we go through life believing that, fear is there, and once you get pushed over, it's no longer fear evidence that appear real. You've done it. You're over it. There's no evidence anymore. It's gone. And from that point on, it just never stopped. Yeah. And we're not here to say it's like, all strawberries and roses and ice cream, because there are many days, because when you're a couple and you're building a business and you're together all the time, there's a lot of days like he probably wants to kill me and I want to kill him when we go silent, but we're on a mission. We're on a mission to grow this dream and vision that he had, and
so she basically showed me a different side of like working in the industry for all of these different companies. And she been around a lot of different
my background is real estate as
real
well.
Estate, so it kind of like it kind of balanced me out. And I said,
let me interrupt you for a quick second. Here's the key point here that I want my listeners to understand. And those that are subscribers heard me say this before, and I'm going to say it again. In business, you should focus on what you're good at and either hire out or give the responsibility of what you're weak at to someone else. And you mentioned you were all over the place. Man, there's a reason why most people don't operate and own businesses because it isn't easy. We're not, I firmly believe our educational system it failed us because they don't teach us key components of life in terms of finances and in terms of actually running a business. They're two different entities. I know a lot of people that are very, very. I use the hamburger industry, right? And I use McDonald's. Um, McDonald's hamburgers suck, but yet they sell the most hamburgers in the world, right? Uh, but but they sell the most hamburgers in the world because of they had two components, right? They had the brothers that started that were very good at making burgers, and then they had Crockett who understood business and built the business, right? So it's they're not the same. They're two completely different entities. And I'm glad you found Ari to help you get organized and start establishing structure that you mentioned because I think structure is very important in business. So kudos to you for recognizing her talent and kudos to her for recognizing your talents and then putting those talents together to create this awesome business that you guys currently have. So let's shift focus a little bit and let's talk about specifically about the business and tell us in what areas do you guys specialize in?
Really quick before that, I think it's important. I just want to kind of throw something in that we were also blessed because although he had his mentor and I had my mentor coming into this, we realized and we were blessed enough because God gave us another mentor in the industry that we're in that really is a huge piece
Yeah.
of this puzzle. So,
Yeah.
when you start a business, it's also important to continue with coaching or mentorship. It helps because that's a shortcut to your success. That's what we believe. Just
Yes.
wanted to put
And
that out there.
no, and thank you for sharing that. But that's exactly my point. That's why I mentioned Tom Brady. I mentioned Tiger Woods. I mentioned Michael Jordan because their whole career they had a coach and or a mentor. So it doesn't stop once I think the one of the biggest mistakes business owners make is that when they get to a position that they personally feel that they quote unquote made it, then they sit back. No, man, that's when you have to continue to put your foot on the pedal and continue to grow because you know another business example that really didn't understand what we just talked about was Blockbuster. Blockbuster was a major company that no longer exists because they failed to innovate because they thought they made it, right?
Hmm.
They thought they were there.
And they declined Netflix. Do you remember that? They
Yeah,
declined them.
yes, exactly. Exactly. So going back to the business, right? How do you guys tailor your services? Or let's go back. Where do you specialize in within your designs?
We specialize in home theaters.
Yes.
So we're a turnkey home theater company. Also game rooms. So we create beautiful game rooms as well, and then custom furniture. But what we specialize mostly is home theaters, game rooms, and then custom furnitures.
Yes.
Yeah, and people, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring them on. So uh, as a short-term rental operator and a person that's in the real estate business in today's very, very, very competitive market, we need to stand out,
Yeah.
right? So for us, especially in the renter world, one of the ways we stand out is by adding exceptional amenities to our guests. A home
Yes.
theater and a game room are two ways that you can really stand out and really the ROI and or the return on your investment on that is tenfold. So can you guys give me an example of a project you guys did? And I don't know if you have this, but if you have a project that you did that you can share with us in which you either increased the value of the property and the person was able to sell it for more, or if there were a short-term rental operator, you increase their average daily rate or RevPAR. Can you give me an example? Do you have an example like that?
Yes. So the funny story is, we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with the kids for New Year's. And so I reached out to a friend of mine, and he has a, short-term rental. And so we looked up on the app, and he's like, I'm sorry, we are completely booked. And he gave me a screenshot of what he booked it. Now, mind you, the home theater doesn't necessarily mean a whole room of a home theater. If you have that space, that's great, but we can create it in the middle of a living room as well. It doesn't matter. We can create anything anywhere. So in his rental, it's a big rental. He has a gaming room, of course, and then he also has a small home theater as well. And when he showed me that screenshot last year, he rented that and he made about $20,000 to $25,000 during this time. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
And 2 days ago, he gave me a screenshot. I said, we can't go there because he just booked it out for a total of 10 days for $41,000. And I have it right here. I was shocked, but I wasn't shocked because people, when they go and they spend their money today on short-term rentals, it's a vacation, it's quality time. They want to build memories. It's not about, more tangible gifting. It's more about building memories, especially after COVID. The people lost a lot of people. So to be able to create something and bring these families into these homes where they can experience watching their kids in a gaming room, with the adults, and then also, creating a space for home theaters where they're there laughing, eating popcorn and making a mess. So he was able to rent this place, and we can't take our kids now, and that's just half of the month.
Yes.
So if he was to rent it out, he's in 80 grand just between now and New Year's to rent this property out, just because of these features where they don't have to go anywhere else.
Yes.
Everything is in that home.
Yes.
We were shocked.
Like you, I'm not. Well, like you said, you were shocked, and you weren't shocked because of the quality of the work. But I agree, man. People, I need you guys to understand. In today's competitive world, you really need to figure out how you can stand out. And having an awesome, well-designed theater room, an awesome, well-designed game room, is going to give you a huge dividends on your investments if you do that.
Huge.
Ori just gave you a prime example. He was able to almost double his revenue just by creating a better, and he already had it. Well, you guys just made it better, right? So by designing a better, well-designed amenity in their particular property. So let's continue along this theme of design, right? What role? I know we said that designs play a crucial role in when someone is building a house or creating a short-term rental. But in your opinion, why do you think having a custom, well-designed plan for, let's say, a theater room is important?
I'm going to give you an example right now. We're working on 2 projects right now that actually, they subbed us out. So we're not doing the whole home theater, but we came in to pick up pieces. And because it wasn't designed properly it has to be, you can't skip a letter. The alphabet is A through Z. When you skip a letter, you're thinking you're taking a shortcut, but at the end, as an investor, what's happening is you're losing time and you're losing a lot of money. So it starts with the design. So the first thing we do is we sit down, we have a design team, we have the capacity, we have a whole, a whole amazing team that listens to our clients, and we take their vision and we start from A all the way through Z. We take the space, we design in that space every inch of that room, so nothing goes to waste. That's actually his magic, so I'm talking for him. And we design what will work for this property. How are we going to add value to this property? Are they going to be able to rent this out, and why? well, because the way that we're designing the room, there's going to be, room to even add another amenity in that room,
Yes.
not just have a pool table, which we also build, design
Yes.
also pool tables as well. But we're able to design the room where
Yeah.
we can put everything that the client can vision. Because sometimes you're like, how am I going to be able to do this, and that? Well, that's why we design it, and it starts there. And then little by little, you see it come to life. But it has to start with a good design.
Yes.
Without that, it's not going to work.
I mean, that's a great lesson for those of you listening, right? Number one, there's a saying in Spanish that goes, "Lo barato cuesta mucho," which basically, when you go cheap, you oftentimes pay more than if you would have done it right the first time, right? So, walk us through. Let's do this. I think it's important to walk through the process. So I'm a homeowner. I own a short-term rental. I call you, Ori. I say, hey, I need you guys to come out. I want to do a collaboration. I want you guys to come out and design use my property and figure out how we can make it better with. And I want you to create a game room, and I want you to create a theater room. So walk me through the process. What's the first step?
Okay, so we asked you for what type of theme or what type of look you're going for, like a warm, relaxed, so we get into details with you, get to know who you are and what you want to feel when you come and sit down or anywhere you at in this game room or home theater. So, and that's where it started. We have to get to know yeah. And then we see, and then we come up with our idea to help you, because we're getting to know you first as a person. And then, because I can read when it comes to design, because I've been doing this for so long, I know what people want and what people don't want. So I can basically read off of your energy, and by me coming inside of your house, and then I will just go from there. And that's how the whole, we'll start designing your theater or your game.
So we first get the vision of you as a client, and then we have our designer come in, and then he creates the drawings, and then we go back to you, and it's called the rendering. And we say, okay, from your vision, this is what we've created. And then we can, of course, change things. And then that's where it really starts. So it's the vision. You come in with the vision. We come in with the design, and then we sit down, and then we start changing things. And then we present to you a rendering, which can always be changed until it's 100% to your liking. And then from there, there's other steps. Then we start with the construction side of it, and we move forward. But the most important thing is your vision, your design, and what your end goal is. Like, what is your end goal? And that's our job to make sure that we can execute what your end goal is. Yes. And like with real estate background as well, like I know that, everyone we want the value there. We want to be able to stand out than others. So when you're going online and you want to rent, a home, a vacation home, something has to stand out. So everybody has a hot tub. Wow, that's great. That's standard now. It's not even like, it's not even that special anymore. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
It's 100% the truth. So there's a couple of things that back in the day, if you had a hot tub, man, it was a home run.
You're the thing.
It's almost like a record set today is having a hot tub.
But today, from what we've seen and what in the
shower now,
a stand-up shower, for what we've seen and it's really hot. It's a hot trend right now because a lot of people want to stand out. Is they want to create, in their budget. Everyone has a budget, but they want to create something special. So that their rental stands out, and that is a home theater, a media room and a game room that is different. And that's what we've been seeing every single day. So, and it's not to say, and when I say stand out, it's a different, it's a different vision, different drawings, different feeling, different energy. But that's what a lot of people are looking for when they're looking to rent homes, vacation homes.
Yeah.
They're not looking for the hot tub anymore. They're
No,
looking
no,
for
Those days are over.
yeah. Well, you still
More
have to have
educated.
it because it's expected now. But you're right.
it's standard.
It's standard. Yeah, it is standard.
Yeah.
So one other question in terms of design, right?
Mhm.
So can you explain, or how do you strike the perfect balance between functionality and aesthetics
Mhm.
in your designs?
You go ahead.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, he is so detailed about the
Oh,
way he builds and how he expects the team to build it that he will make
yeah.
them redo it, even if it's a
All right.
quarter inch off.
So,
He will not install
so
it.
you remember I told you about my mentor. So my mentor, he's a little short, little guy. So I guess he's low to the cabinet, so he see everything. You know what I'm saying? So and that's why I said you have to pay attention to details. And he showed me these little things that make a big difference to your client and to the everything. So he showed me these little details, and I learned it, and that's why I said, me doing this. I've been doing construction since 2000. No,
But you've been in
not
the
no.
home theater
Sorry,
for a long time.
I was doing. I started home theaters in 2005.
Mhm.
Yes, I do that, and then I go into the carpentry, custom cabinets. So I have the knowledge and the skills for like everything that you can think of. The details that you're looking for. Everything. So I learned that from him with also the background of these home theaters. So I give people basically what I want in my house, what I expected, and I expect the best.
So what he's yes, and they do get the best of you.
Best.
But I think also what he's asking is like
The
the transitioning from the day that
started.
they get their drawings,
Mhm.
the cleanliness. So we
Okay.
have a protocol,
Ah.
and we were discussing this with another
Yes.
company that we're doing work for just yesterday. We literally walked out.
Yes.
Okay, he did. He's like, I am no longer,
All right.
until you guys don't have all your
Yeah.
ducks in a row, I am stopping my crew right here, right now, because it is liability. It
Yes.
wasn't, it's not cleansed. It's the whole cleanliness. There's an order that has to take place. And he's the first one that will stop the project
Yes.
in a second
Yes.
and pull everyone out and walk away until it's ready for him to walk back in.
Yes.
And that's what I love about what you do.
So, and like what she was saying about this job I was doing. So, is how can I put it out there without putting
You
it out
can't.
there? Okay. All right. I'll let
Yeah,
you know that. All right.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what
yeah.
I work
Let
with.
me ask you. Let me ask you another question. So not everyone has huge budgets. Not everyone has huge homes. So let's and already mentioned this, and I think it's a key point that for people to realize that you don't need to have a mansion and to actually have a nice home theater. So let's assume someone has a 2,000 square foot home. It's a 3-2 standard living room. Walk me through that. What would you guys suggest do in something like that?
We're doing it right now. Just right now
Yes.
in a condo. We can turn in one of the rooms into a top-notch home theater. All you need, it's not even about the space. We can create just like we would in a $15 million home or a $10 million home or a $250,000 condo. If they have that extra room, that same feel, that same luxurious, uh, detailed theater can be created in there. So it does not matter as long as you have that square footage that we can work with. it can get done. And it can
So
be
what's
as
that
small
square
as
footage? When
it
you
can
say
be
square footage, could
Ooh.
what's the smallest size you can work with?
as long as you can fit like what, two recliners in there, you're
if,
good to go.
if you want, there you go. Pretty much.
Ah,
Pretty
oh,
much.
okay. So
Pretty,
that basically
pretty
could
much.
be pretty much any room.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Because the
so
theater, it's all it's different kinds of panels, it's different
Yes.
kind of
So you have
which
different feelings to every theater, different size.
yeah.
Like what I said, if you want to turn your living room like, in a theater feeling, you can also get that feeling, So it's like anywhere in your house you want to have that feeling, and we work with a good price also. So,
so let's talk about price. What would be, and I know this is going to be very rough because you don't have all the details, but let's talk about someone has a bedroom or a little larger office that they want to convert into a theater room, and so what, and they want probably not something super expensive, not something super cheap, something in the middle. Like, what would be the average cost of a conversion?
okay, so it can goes from if they're gonna use like a sound bar and a sub, say from Sonos or Bose or type of feeling. So those will come up to say roughly just the speakers, uh,
But
and plus the work. Say a bedroom roughly you will look at
on the low end,
low end.
if they use a TV and not a projector, if they use a
And
comfortable sofa versus a theater seating, there's so
it,
many
it
different
can it can
options.
range from say 20 or probably lower, and it can be higher. So it can be from like 10 to 15,000 and up or less. It more or less, how much they want to put in. And that's why I said to people, I will work with your budget, and then we work around it. I
Yes.
like to ask them what can they afford. That's the first thing I ask. What do you like to spend? How much? What's your budget you're working with? And then we have vendors that we work with all different prices, and we give you that feeling for the price and the bucks that you have.
The whole idea,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
the whole idea that Delgado and I think, and this is a bragging part of what I'm gonna do is that, you know, we are very humble people, and we didn't grow up, with a silver spoon in our mouth. We've worked really, really hard since we're 10 to 11 years old. And where we are today, we feel really blessed. So when we have clients come to us, we really listen to them like, okay, this is what you want to create, this is what your budget is, let us work with our design team, let us come up with something, let us meet
Yeah.
around that, give you the option of what we're able to give you, so that way you have an idea of what you're getting yourself into. So we are really detailed in communication and working with our clients to make sure that they're not overspending and then they're suffocating, versus, because the whole idea is they want to
Yeah.
be able to turn around and get, get someone in their property and
Yes.
start
Yes.
building their revenue.
Yes.
So that's what we're here to help, is to be able to create something that stands out and yet affordable for them, but yet they can obviously rent it for a lot higher because of that.
So every every business has challenges, right? What has been your biggest challenge so far?
Our biggest challenge is, okay,
I think our
so
biggest.
here's a challenge right now. um at a certain age, you diagnose yourself with ADHD without a doctor. Okay. And for, I'll give you an example for me. Yeah, all of us. Um, I was a regional market manager, for 30 years in my first career, and then the last 17 years I've been in the real estate world. And then when I decided to push Delgado over to make Dream Bride what it is today, because I am his number one fan, and truly believe in our company and what we do. Um, my biggest challenge is trying to convince him I am not an admin. I've never been behind a desk. I've never done QuickBooks. I don't even know what Word is. Like, I am in the field with my clients. I hug them. I sell them homes. I
That's
talk
why
to them
we
about
hired.
theaters. I'm like, some of my challenges is convincing him that we need to hire someone who's really good at doing that, where I can be out there meeting clients, sitting with them, and bringing business in versus wasting. And it's not saying, I'm not saying it in a bad negative way, because I think a lot of people are challenged when they first, the first 2 years in business. You can't do everything on your own, although we have been, and that's been a challenge, because now at the end comes midnight, it's like I look at him and I'm like, it's like I don't even want to, like,
So
I just spent 2 hours trying to figure out QuickBooks. I don't even know what I'm doing.
yeah, so that was my biggest one of my challenge into this being a business owner. It's basically learning to do these, with the computer and all of these things again, because I'm always in the field working with my hands. So it's like I'm a carpenter. It's like that's the only thing I know how to do. You give me a piece of wood and I make it to your dream that you want it to be. So I don't, I wasn't the guy that sit around, okay, no. So that was my biggest change.
But
And,
luckily,
and,
Well,
and
we're going full circle now, because if you guys remember, what did I say earlier on in this podcast was one of the big, there's two separate entities. We have the skillful person, like you're the brains in terms of design, the construction, but running a business is a completely different entity. Um, here's here's going to be one of the things that I highly suggest, not just for you, but everyone listening, right? Um, as a business owner, you have to really decide what part of the business you're going to be in charge of, right? And what I mean by that is, in your case, Delgado, you are the craftsman, right? That's your expertise. That's your knowledge. Stay in your lane. Don't don't try to do QuickBooks. You're not an accountant, right? So don't do that, right? Ari, Ari's talent is in the interaction with the customers and is in the sales side. I would never ask her to go and build a cabinet, right?
yeah.
That's not her role, right? So uh, hugely important that you guys, if you guys are starting out, you guys are doing well, but you're understanding now that there's a lot of aspect of business that you probably weren't aware of because you were working for other people. But there's certain things that you definitely have to hire out. And I know in the beginning, it's tough because money's tight. I may save a penny here and there, but in the end, don't do that, because in the end, it's going to stun your growth and it's going to cost you money in the long run. I'll give you my example. When I started my company many years ago, I was like many people, like yourself and many people watching. I I didn't come from a business background. No one in my family actually ran a business, right? Uh, and I was a government W-2 employee. They don't teach you anything about budgets, about financing, about marketing. They don't teach you any of that, right? So in 2 years that I was in business, I made zero money and very limited growth because I thought I had to wear all hats. And that was the biggest mistake I made in business. So two key components that if you're that you probably right now would start looking for is hiring an admin. If you don't already have one, hire an admin person to take care of the little minutia that takes a lot of your valuable time. Because the way I look at it is the following: if I can pay someone, so let me give you an example. Well, let me ask you this question: um, if you get a good client and it's a big project, what do you guys know what your profit margins are?
Yes. So we have a team now. We in the last, in the last 6 to 7 months, we learned our lessons of what we're
Yes.
talking about.
Yes.
So the last
Yes.
6 and 7 months, we did. We stopped. We have, we have a team now. We have a design team. We have everyone knows their role, and that's why we're able to execute so much better on a superb level than when we were. But listen, at the beginning, we were doing it all by ourselves with the mentor. But as we went, we realized we can't wear the same hats.
Yeah.
And that's where the growth started happening. That's when the growth started happening. So now, when we go, we're able to go to 3 to 4 meetings in a week and be able to have our design team work on 3 to 4 projects versus one every 2 weeks, and we're losing our minds.
Yes.
It's a huge difference.
Yes.
But we had to go through that to understand it.
Yes.
Yes. Like there was.
So that was my biggest, hurdle.
And today, thank God, we have the right people with us that have been doing this for over 30 years, and everyone knows what they're good at. And that's what you hire them. You hire them to do what they're good at. So that way everybody, including our clients, is elevated all at the same time throughout the process of the project from A to Z.
Yes.
Awesome. And I'm glad you shared that, because I preach that. I tell my clients, I do a lot of consulting work for short-term rental businesses and operators. And that's my biggest hurdle with them, is getting them to understand that they have to hire. They just can't do it. So let's shift focus real quick, because we're gonna start to land this plane. So let's shift focus and let's talk about design itself. Where do you see the future, or what's trending? Let's go there. What's trending in terms of colors, in terms of actual designs? What's the new hot thing that's out there?
Okay, so trending is a big spectrum, because there's some people that want to do themed specifically, but for the majority of what's trending right now is cozy, warm. It's not so much. It's more of a feeling of togetherness. So it's more of the warm colors. It's more of the big sofa, oversized sofas versus the traditional reclining. But there are some. But this is what's trending now. Very warm. Very
Colors.
The color scheme is very warm, very cozy, very togetherness. That's trending huge right now. And then obviously, in addition to that, is different themes. Like you'll have different themes that they want. They want like a Disney theme, or they want what other? There's so many different themes.
So, but trending like in the colors, they are more like warm. Like a lot of what I find out that a lot of the houses that I go into with the colors, like more like light gray, black, white. You're finding those type of color to like open up the feeling of the warmness of the house.
And then we do the
So,
beige.
and then you have like the natural wood look, kind of like
That's huge.
that's one of the biggest thing too. So you have different, we try to go for more home.
home
You
feel.
feel home. You when you come in, you just feel, oh man, I don't want to leave. It just connect. So it's a lot of different feeling we bring as a designer, and to your house. We make you feel at home.
Yeah.
And
So that's
we
what's
bring
really
that.
trending right
Yeah.
now, is people want to feel, even in
The
the
deco,
design, they want to feel at homey, where they
Yeah.
can really
You
spend
know.
that time with their friends and family.
I agree with that. Like I'm going to give you an example. When a couple of years back, what was really trending for us in the short-term rental industry, and I'm talking about 10 years back, right, was larger homes, the industrial and modern look for the property. That was trending. Back many years ago, that's what really sold. But today, that's not the case. Today, it's more intimate. Like the properties that produce the most or the highest ROIs are usually much smaller. They're usually, for example, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom properties do much better than 4, 5, 6 bedroom properties. I mean, by far. In addition, they want that cozy feeling. They want that because it's the way we're starting to see the trends going is more when people get away, they want that romantic feel because it's usually going to be either a couple or maybe two couples going together. But the large properties for large families or big groups, they're not there anymore. So having that cozy, romantic type atmosphere and feeling is what we're seeing this trending. And I'm glad you guys said
100%.
that.
100%. And another thing that I just wanted to bring up that we're actually doing it right now too to keep that warmth is Delgado just built this big wall unit with the panels, which is hidden storage in the back, but the warmth of the panels is what's in right now as well. So everything, like you said, it's not like back in the day where it was like, you know, the 5, 6 bedroom big homes. It's more of the 2 with the den or the 3, the warmth, the unity.
Yeah.
So you're here we are 10 years later, like you said. That's what's in.
So we're gonna land this plane with the last 2 to 3 questions. But then this next question is, what's next for you guys? Where do you see you guys going in your current industry?
So, do you want me to? What we see for us, honestly, if I can be as honest and humble, is because of our background and us working, you know, for other people at the beginning of our careers. Our goal is there's a few people out there that are so talented, and one of our main goal is by 2025 to have them join our culture company, which is it's family oriented, and be able to execute and deliver more home theaters and gaming for homes. That's what we are seeing for next year.
And also reaching out to the rental companies to work with us, because I meant to say we do work with payments also. If
We do payments
it's,
as well,
also
so we can work with you.
yes,
Wait, because that's a very important.
I know. When we was on that topic, I forgot to mention
See,
that.
ADHD kicked in.
So walk us through that. When you say payments, do you guys finance these
Yes, yes,
deals?
yes.
Okay, well, that's an interesting subject. So this is going to be a little longer than I thought because I want to dive into that because that's good for my listeners. Because, like I mentioned, there are people out there. So for us, for example, we work with a lot of investors, and we also work with people that want to invest in the short-term rental industry. But most people, just like when they get into investing in real estate, they don't really have the funds. So if they can figure out a way to finance the project, then that's a huge difference. So walk me through that. You guys working with a local bank? What is it? Is it a personal loan on the person? Do you guys work with companies like, for example, our company? And this is really a subject for another podcast, but I'm going to just throw this out there for you guys if you guys are not aware. Um, Teaming up with companies like mine or other short-term rental companies or companies that are in the vacation industry, we get lines of credit for just like any company can and it's classified as equipment purchases, right? So for you guys, if you went to a bank and say, "Hey, I need to buy more saws, more drills. I need to buy that," a bank will give you a loan for equipment. In my world, a bank will give me a loan to do build outs. For example, we got a loan to do our domes. So we did glamping style domes and tree houses. A bank gave me the money as an equipment loan to build that because for us, that's my tool, right? And an equipment loan today is much cheaper than getting a traditional loan. So, for example, my interest rate is 4.99%, and we got for the project we're doing in Georgia. We're in Georgia. We're building a dome house we're building a glass house, and then we're building with a traditional small cottage. Now, if I went to a bank to get to have that funded as a construction deal, then as you know, most construction loans, their interest rates are higher and they're paid out as the build goes along. As an equipment loan, I pick the terms, meaning I can do a 48 month as far out as a 16-month loan at 4.99%, and I can do interest only if I wanted to. They're very flexible and really easy to get as long as you can, you present them your business plan, as long as your business doesn't have a bad rating, most
Good to
likely,
go.
yeah, most likely you're going to get that loan. And today at 4.99% interest loan is
You
huge.
can't beat that. You
Yeah,
cannot beat that at all.
can't beat that. So for you guys, if I'm a homeowner and I say, hey, I need to finance this deal, what are your standard terms for the deal?
So we would turn it over. We work with a couple of companies that are banks, and each one is, it's individually. You'd have your own. It's like taking a mortgage out. They would probably look at the property, like you said, because that's your world, and determine from there. But it's available. It's available for any homeowner that wants to do any additionals. There's different loans out there, so it's available. We will do the connection, and then of course on it's confidential what the background is, but it's there.
Available.
It's available.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know that. So if they want to go and say, oh, I can't imagine, I want to build a game room and I want to build a home theater, but just the thought of it and coming out of pocket in one shot. Well, you don't have to. You can still get that done. It's just knowledge out there that's a lot of people don't know about. So we will make the connection and you'll be able to get your home theater into your rental or your gaming room.
That is freaking awesome. I love that. I love that option. Well, my beautiful people, this has been an insightful conversation. How can my listeners get a hold of you?
They can go to our website, www.dreambrightcd.com. If you're able to put that on there.
Yeah. We're going to put all your information in the description below. But what's the best way? So through your website is the best way to get a hold of you, or is there an email that
They can,
yeah.
so also an email, ORIYA at dreambrightcd.com, or you can contact me directly at 954-998-7114. So email, website, or phone number, reach out to us. We would love to collaborate.
All right, Ari Delgado, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us today. I mean, you guys are an inspiration, especially, like you mentioned, from your background, how you guys started. Those that are watching, I'm sure I'm inspired, and I'm sure people that are watching are inspired by your story. If you guys want to get a hold of them, like I said, everything, their website and their emails and their contact information will be in the description below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. I love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.